What if the very things most men chase, attention, validation, approval, are not only ineffective, but are the exact reasons attraction slowly dies? What if every extra message, every explanation, every attempt to be understood is quietly eroding desire rather than building it? And what if real attraction is not created by trying harder, performing better, or saying the right words, but by standing calmer? Stoicism has survived for over 2,000 years, not because it teaches men to suppress emotion, but because it teaches mastery. Mastery over impulse, mastery over reaction, mastery over the need to be chosen, and mastery is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are internally ordered, those who do not leak energy, chase outcomes, or beg life to cooperate with them. Before we go any further, let's make one thing absolutely clear. This is not about manipulation. It is not about control. It is not about forcing desire or playing psychological games. Obsession, in the Stoic sense, is not possession. It is presence. It is the kind of attraction that forms naturally when a man is grounded in himself, when his emotions are regulated, his direction is clear, and his sense of worth does not depend on external approval. It is the feeling a woman has when she is around a man who does not rush her, does not pressure her, and does not pull on her emotions for validation. She feels safe. She feels intrigued. She feels emotionally activated without feeling overwhelmed. And that combination is rare. Stoic psychology flips modern dating advice on its head. Instead of asking, "How do I make her like me?" it asks a far more powerful question. Who must I become so attraction happens on its own? Because when attraction is forced, it fades. But when it is a byproduct of character, it deepens. If you understand these 7 principles, and more importantly, if you live them, something strange begins to happen. You stop chasing women. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop performing for affection. And without trying to, you notice women leaning toward you, not because you demand attention, not because you manipulate emotion, but because your energy invites connection. Calm invites curiosity. Certainty invites trust. Presence invites desire. This is not about becoming cold. It's about becoming centered. And once you are centered, attraction no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes a response. Let's begin. Secret 1. Emotional self-control is irresistible. Stoicism begins with one brutal truth. Emotions are powerful, but they are not leaders. Most men live in reaction mode. A delayed reply triggers anxiety. A cold tone creates insecurity. A small burst of attention causes instant overinvestment. Their emotional state is constantly being pulled outward, controlled by signals they do not govern. A Stoic man is different. He does not suppress emotion. He does not deny feeling. He does not pretend to be unaffected. He governs. He experiences emotion without surrendering authority to it. He feels attraction without losing composure. He feels uncertainty without panicking. This is emotional self-control, and emotional self-control is rare. When you remain calm under uncertainty, you signal inner stability. When you don't panic at silence, you communicate self-trust. When you don't overreact to mood shifts, you become something powerful. A psychological anchor. Women are not drawn to emotional chaos. Chaos feels unpredictable. Chaos feels unsafe. They are drawn to emotional safety paired with quiet strength. Safety tells her, "I can relax here." Strength tells her, "This man is not easily shaken." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." In dating, this philosophy becomes practical. You don't chase reassurance when uncertainty appears. You don't demand explanations for emotional distance. You don't argue from a place of wounded pride. You don't explain yourself excessively to be understood. You don't try to fix her emotions to feel secure, because a Stoic man understands something most men don't. Her emotions are not his responsibility. His response is. So instead of reacting, he responds. He pauses. He observes. He chooses. He speaks when clarity is needed, not when anxiety demands noise. He steps back when space is required, not when ego feels threatened. This creates contrast. Most men react emotionally. They rush. They chase. They explain. You remain composed. And here is the paradox. The moment you stop reacting emotionally, women begin reacting emotionally to you. Because emotional control creates polarity. It creates curiosity. It creates tension without pressure. Your calm becomes the contrast. In a world full of men who are emotionally exposed, reactive, and unstable, the man who remains centered becomes unforgettable. not because he tries to impress, but because his presence feels different, grounded, steady, unshakable, and that is where attraction begins. Secret 2, detachment creates desire. Most men misunderstand detachment. They think it means indifference. They think it means coldness. They think it means pretending not to care. Stoic detachment is none of those things. Detachment means you care, without clinging. Attachment says, I need this outcome. Detachment says, I will engage fully, but I'll be fine either way. One energy feels heavy. The other feels free. And people are naturally drawn to freedom. When a woman senses that you are emotionally whole without her, something subtle but powerful shifts inside her. Certainty turns into curiosity. Comfort turns into desire. Because comfort feels safe, but desire needs space. Epictetus taught, if you want something, ask yourself whether it is within your control. Her attraction is not within your control. Her feelings are not within your control. Her choices are not within your control. Your conduct is. So instead of trying to manage outcomes, you master your presence. You stop trying to lock the future through promises, pressure, or reassurance. You stop chasing certainty through overinvestment. You enjoy the moment for what it is, not for what you hope it becomes. You listen without planning your next move. You engage without attachment to results. You allow connection to unfold at its own pace. And because you are not gripping the outcome, the connection can breathe. And where there is space, desire grows. Because desire cannot survive where there is need, but it flourishes where there is freedom. That is stoic detachment, not emotional distance, but emotional maturity. Secret 3. Scarcity of attention raises your value. Attention is currency, and most men spend it recklessly. They text too much. They explain too much. They are always available. Not because they are generous, but because they are afraid to be forgotten. And when attention is oversupplied, value collapses. A stoic man understands this instinctively. He respects his time. He protects his energy, not as a strategy, but as a way of life. He doesn't withhold attention to create anxiety. He doesn't disappear to provoke reactions. He doesn't play timing games. He simply has a full life. His days have structure. His goals demand focus. His purpose comes first, so his attention is given, not leaked. This creates scarcity. Not artificial, not manipulative, but natural, and natural scarcity feels different. When a woman receives your attention, it feels intentional. It feels chosen. It feels present. And when she doesn't, it doesn't feel like punishment. It doesn't feel like distance or rejection. It feels normal. Because your life does not pause for validation, and something subtle happens. She begins to invest. She asks questions. She mirrors effort. She becomes curious about your time and energy, because humans value what they earn. And when your attention is no longer guaranteed, it becomes meaningful. That is stoic scarcity, quiet, grounded, unforced, and incredibly powerful. Secret 4, inner purpose outshines external validation. Nothing is more attractive than a man who is moving towards something bigger than approval. Most men live externally. Their confidence rises and falls with messages, replies, likes, and reactions. A warm response lifts them. Silence weakens them. Their sense of worth is outsourced. Stoic men live internally. Their value is not voted on. Their confidence is not negotiated. Their identity does not depend on being chosen. Their worth is self-generated. Their direction is self-chosen. They wake up with intention. They move with discipline. They measure success by progress, not applause. And when a woman steps into the orbit of a man like this, she feels it immediately. She doesn't feel like your purpose. She doesn't feel responsible for your happiness. She doesn't feel like she has to complete you. She feels invited. Invited into a life that already has momentum. Invited into a direction that already exists. Invited but not required. This removes pressure, and pressure is the silent killer of attraction. Because pressure makes her feel watched. Pressure makes her feel responsible. Pressure turns connection into obligation. A man with purpose doesn't hover. He doesn't overinvest emotionally. He doesn't pause his life waiting for validation. He keeps moving. And that movement creates polarity, because when your life is full, your attention becomes valuable. Your presence becomes intentional. A man with purpose does not ask to be chosen. He chooses, not from arrogance, but from alignment. And that quiet certainty is magnetic. Secret 5. Silence is more powerful than words. Modern dating is loud. Everyone is explaining. Everyone is justifying. Everyone is filling space to avoid discomfort. Words have become cheap, used to seek reassurance, to control outcomes, to hide insecurity. Stoicism teaches the opposite. It teaches restraint. You do not fill silence with anxiety. You do not speak just to be noticed. You do not talk to escape tension. You allow moments to breathe. Because silence is not empty. It is revealing. When there is silence, people project. They imagine. They wonder. And imagination is far more powerful than explanation. A man who is comfortable with silence signals inner confidence. He shows that he does not need constant feedback to feel secure. He trusts his presence enough to let it stand on its own. When you speak less but with intention, your words land heavier. They are remembered. They carry weight. You don't over-message. You don't rush to reply to prove interest. You don't flood conversations with emotion. And because of that, when you do respond, your presence lingers. Not because you disappeared, but because you left space. Silence creates psychological distance without emotional withdrawal. It invites curiosity instead of comfort. It creates tension without pressure. And that is the Stoic power. Silence is not coldness. It is not manipulation. It is not absence. Silence is confidence. It is the quiet certainty of a man who knows that his value does not depend on constant noise. And in a world that never stops talking, that kind of silence becomes unforgettable. Secret 6. Emotional consistency builds trust and tension. Emotional volatility repels. Emotional flatness bores. One creates chaos. The other creates indifference. The Stoic path stands between the two. It is emotional consistency with depth. A Stoic man is not unpredictable in his values. He is predictable in his character. His mood does not swing wildly based on attention. His energy does not spike with validation or crash with silence. He does not make others responsible for regulating his emotions. This steadiness creates something rare, emotional safety. You are steady, not cold, not distant, steady. You are warm but not overwhelming. Your presence is inviting, not consuming. You show interest without urgency, care without attachment. You are expressive but not needy. You can speak your truth without demanding reassurance. You can show desire without seeking permission to feel worthy. And this balance builds trust. Because she learns something important about you. You are reliable without being boring, grounded without being rigid, present without being dependent. Trust grows when emotions feel safe. And once trust exists, tension becomes possible. Because tension does not thrive in chaos. And it cannot exist without safety. She knows where you stand. She feels your interest. She understands your direction. But she does not know where the story ends. She cannot predict your emotional reactions. She cannot manipulate your mood. She cannot rush your boundaries. You are consistent, but not programmable. And that uncertainty, wrapped in safety, is where attraction deepens. Because attraction is not about drama. It's about contrast. Calm energy paired with quiet mystery. Emotional depth paired with emotional control. Attraction thrives in that balance. And once a woman feels both grounded and stimulated around you, she doesn't pull away. She leans in. Secret 7, you are the prize and without arrogance. The final secret is not a tactic. It is not a technique. It is not something you do. It is who you are. This secret is identity, not ego, not superiority, not pretending you're above others. Identity. Ego seeks validation. Identity does not need it. A man with ego wants to be admired. A man with identity is already at peace with himself. You value yourself not because others choose you, but because you live in alignment with your principles. You respect yourself because you keep promises, not to women, not to society, but to yourself. You say you'll work and you work. You say you'll walk away and you walk away. You say you'll grow and you do. That consistency builds self-respect, and self-respect is felt before it is seen. This is why you can walk away from disrespect calmly. No anger, no speeches, no need to prove a point, because when you know your worth, you don't argue with people who try to reduce it. You don't audition for approval. You don't overperform to be chosen. You don't bend your boundaries to stay liked. You allow others to meet you where you stand. And when a woman senses this, something shifts inside her. She doesn't feel chased, because chasing implies need. She doesn't feel pressured, because pressure comes from insecurity. She feels challenged, not challenged in a combative way, but challenged in a way that awakens curiosity. She feels that your attention is not guaranteed. She feels that your presence is earned, not begged for. She feels that being with you requires alignment, not control. And this creates tension. Healthy tension. Respectful tension. The kind that keeps attraction alive. Because obsession is not born from manipulation. It is not born from tricks or emotional games. Obsession is born from meaning. From, encountering a man who knows who he is, moves with quiet certainty, and would rather walk alone than abandon himself. That is the Stoic prize. And when you become that man, you don't need to tell anyone your value. They feel it. Final reflection. Stoicism does not teach you how to make women obsessed, because obsession is not something you force. It teaches you something far more dangerous and far more rare. How to become unshakable. An unshakable man is not controlled by outcomes. He is not ruled by attention, approval, or emotional reactions. He does not rise when praised or collapse when ignored. His center is internal. His peace is earned. And when a man reaches that state, something unexpected happens. Attraction stops being something he chases and becomes something that emerges. Because attraction is not created by effort. It is created by presence. When you are unshakable, you stop performing for affection. You stop shaping yourself to be liked. You stop negotiating your worth through messages, replies, or validation. You no longer ask, "Am I enough?" You live as if you already are. You stop chasing because you no longer feel empty without pursuit. You stop over-explaining because you trust your silence. You stop proving because your life already speaks. And in that state, you begin to live fully, calmly, deliberately. Your energy slows. Your reactions soften. Your boundaries become quiet but firm. Women don't feel pressured around you. They don't feel hunted. They don't feel like they are carrying your emotional weight. Instead, they feel something rare. They feel drawn to your calm, drawn to your certainty, drawn to the feeling that being near you is grounding, not draining. That is the paradox of Stoicism. The moment you stop trying to be irresistible is the moment you become unforgettable. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.